This is the perfect RIA, in case you didn't know. Bringing you all the strategies to help your business grow. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Sit back and listen in while you feel the beat, yeah. Another myth bites the dust.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Follow-Up Friday, where our goal is to make sure that you took action on the things that we talked about earlier this week, because as our dear friend Derek Sivers says, if knowledge was all it took, we'd all have six-pack abs, and billion-dollar bank accounts. So we want to touch back on our Monday episode and specifically on the action items that we need to take. Micah, fire away for us.
Yeah, it was really packed. And remember what we're talking about is really adding value in your prospects, right? How do you add value in everything that you want to do? And one of the things that I want to talk about is following up on what is your success formula that you're going to have. Now, what I mean by success formula, when we're sitting down with a prospect and we're talking about how we can add value in their situation, there's all different ways we can articulate it. But what is your formula for articulating that to a client, to a prospect, where it shows the value that's there and also action that they need to take? The example that I gave was using a little bit from Sten Morgan, right? Is I like to put it in dollars and cents and over 10 years, right? So they can see the magnitude, they can see the impact that these decisions can make just over 10 years, not even 30, not even 40, not even the rest of our relationship, right? Just over that 10-year period in time. So it's great. Mr. and Mrs. Client, if we go through X and we try to do this dollar cost saving strategy, maybe this tax saving strategy, it's going to save you $30,000 a year. Now I could say 30 grand a year, or I could say this is going to save you $300,000 in taxes over the next 10 years. Is this something you would like to do? Which is more impactful? So again, what is your formula for success when you're delivering value?
Well, I like that one, Micah. So on the one hand, we are just tipping the scales dramatically on the value that's being delivered, how we're communicating that value. But then the great thing is on the other side of the scale, we can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, and I would save this line if they have any reservations. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, we're just agreeing to work together one calendar quarter at a time. As soon as we stop bringing value to the table, then we need to part ways as friend. But Micah, to your point, we've already found $300,000 of value, low-hanging fruit. This is our first time through. And so great, $300,000 of value, one quarter of working together. We just keep working together as long as the value is there. And having those terminologies ready to communicate that is what separates great advisors from mediocre advisors. And right. I know, Micah, and I'd be curious your thoughts. Early in my career, I thought, well, that's manipulative, that's salesy, that's whatever. It's not. All professionals are rehearsed and practiced and ready to go. You don't go to a theater performance and expect them to make up the script. That's an improv show that nobody really enjoys.
Yeah, this is really, really important, right? If I came to a prospect meeting and I hadn't looked at any of the documents, I didn't know the prospect in advance, I didn't have a list of questions to ask, and I sat down with a blank sheet of paper and be like, great, how's the weather today, right? If I was on the other end of that and I paid for that appointment, I would be pissed. What do you mean I'm coming to this and you do not know how to add value to my situation, right? So this is really, really important. We have to show up as the professional again. And this is what I really, really love. When I show up like that and a dozen other advisors that potentially are out there that are not prepared for the meeting, I am now leaps and bounds ahead just by having a formatted process to go through in my client and prospect meetings, regardless of value. Just that alone is adding tremendous value. Then I can add in all the awesome stuff we can do for that client relationship.
Micah, this reminds me of a metaphor that a friend recently shared with me. He said, Jarvis, imagine if financial advisors built bridges or skyscrapers. And just the thought of this terrified. He said they would all fall down because nearly every advisor is sort of winging it. They're not reviewing it with their peers. They don't have a process. They're like, I don't know how tall it's going to be, right? So every other profession, or almost every profession, has a very methodical process. Your prospect process needs to be as methodical as an engineer. I would go in thinking, if I was building a skyscraper, would it stand up? And that's how intentional I need to be going into my prospect meetings.
You know, the other thing that we talked about, which is an action item, was tracking your numbers. Now, you only have to track the things that you want to measure, right? The things that you want to improve. That's right. The really, really important part here. But this is so key. Not only how many prospects did you meet with, how many clients did you help, this can also be how much value did you add. And this can be really good in helping with the head trash. When I go back and look at all the value that I've delivered to clients, we're like, holy crap, we do a lot. And I get to share that with my team because our whole team needs to know this, that we're adding substantial value in our clients' lives. And that really helps kind of push us, especially in the middle of surge, right? These are great things to be able to go back and look at when you're kind of going through that slog of it and saying, nope, we're adding so much value to our clients' lives. But it also also shows me where I need to improve. So it's not just, giving myself a pat on the back. It's also saying, great, where am I slipping up? Where do I need to tweak this? Where can I improve these things? Because we measure what matters.
I love it. All right, let's get to some action items because we want to keep this Friday episode short so you can get to the weekend. Action item number 1, learn from those who do, right? Jack Black famously said, those who can't teach, or those that can't do, teach, and those that can't teach Jim. You want to learn prospecting from people who are actually prospecting so you can say, hey, what works and what doesn't work in real life.
Amen. If you haven't, second action item, if you haven't checked out Sten Morgan's information on training advisors, you need to go check that out. It is pure genius. He demonstrates how to communicate value to a client and charge a financial planning fee. Again, I've been charging a financial planning fee since the dawn of my financial planning career, and I still learned from him. It was great information. So absolutely figure that out.
Action item number 3, as we talk about all the time on this podcast, tax planning is an incredible area to differentiate yourself from other advisors and to deliver massive quantifiable value. Great resource on that, the Retirement Tax Services podcast hosted by Stephen Jarvis, CPA, who is actually my brother. That's the same last names. Mike and I have been guests on that show, and it is a solid show for getting tax knowledge for financial advisors.
Then the other thing that we're going to do for members of the TPR community is we are going to start having a one-page financial planning vault that's there. And this is going to be really, really good because, Jarvis, just like we were talking about, so much of what we do is not peer-reviewed in any capacity. What if we created it? Right? And that's what we're going to do. What if there was a vault that you could go to that showed a ton of redacted information, of course, right? But one-page financial plans, real one-page financial plans that were used, and you could have other peers look at yours. That's a little scary, isn't it? But they could look at it and say, great, have you thought about this? Have you strategized with this? Because we're all trying to deliver value to clients. And there's an abundance of clients out there for us all. This is not a lack mentality. We can all come together. We can find out what's working, what's not working. We can tweak, we can improve. And that just delivers massive value to our clients. So for our members, we are super excited about having that.
Yeah, Mike, I'm actually really excited about that for myself. I've only had a few opportunities to review one-page financial plans with other advisors. And every time I have, I've learned immense amount of things for myself, regardless of the quality of their plan. It kind of brought things to my awareness. So I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. And until next time, happy planning.
Happy planning.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife.